things that I hear a lot, and I'm sure everyone hears this on TV and news and the internet, is about jobs and the economy. And that there's, not enough jobs, industries dwindling, people need to find new markets. And so what about this? What about medical marijuana, the jobs associated with the dispensaries, with the production? I know there's not going to be much insurance money funneled into it, but have you ever thought about making that argument that this is essentially a pro-jobs bill?
Oh, yeah.
We got the numbers on Colorado.
Yeah, I put together the numbers on Colorado just as far as a minimum on sales tax and fees. It would generate for the state about $39.5 billion a year in revenue. Colorado, which is, our population is 4.7 million, theirs is 5.2. Our estimate is low, it's conservative. We're under the impression that it'll probably be a little bit less out here because of the economy difference and everything. But last year alone, they brought in $77 million in sales tax.
That's a little revenue, don't you think?
On just the sale of medical marijuana. Now that doesn't include the jobs and stuff, but another thing about this bill that's a lot different than those out there is it would limit the number of dispensaries. It doesn't limit it as much as some of the bills that I've seen in Alabama in the past. In the past, they were talking about 3 dispensaries. This one would basically limit it to about 60 dispensaries statewide. Basically, the rule is any state, I think it's or any city over 150,000 can have 2, which would mean Birmingham, Huntsville, Mobile, and Montgomery could have 2. And any city with a population of over 10,000 people could have 1 within their city limits, and that's if the city council or the townspeople agree to doing that. So if you're looking at 60 dispensaries alone, you're looking at about 500 or 600 jobs. That's not including the growers. That's not including the confectionery makers that make edibles and that kind of stuff. It doesn't take into consideration the trickle-down effect of other businesses that would prosper, because just the farmers, would make off good on this. There's so many guys out here that trying to make a living farming that can't do anymore. This could literally save Alabama's farm industry. You had your hand up first.
How would they get the license to be a dispensary? Could a pharmacy do it, or would you have to have
You can't do it through a pharmacy because a pharmacy requires a prescription, and a prescription is a federal document, and marijuana is against federal law. So it can't be done through your general pharmacies. That's the reason that you have to have the dispensaries. You have something?
Well, that was my question.
Okay.
What is the process of?
Yeah, to grow it or for anything, there's a process.
Okay.
Basically, as a patient, if your doctor writes you a recommendation, you can take that recommendation and get it straight to the dispensary and buy marijuana. You file it with the state. They have 30 days to accept or decline you, but for that 30 days, you're legal. Until they make that decision, all you have to have is your doctor's recommendation. The dispensaries are more or less going to have to be nonprofit agencies set up. A lot of the states do that. They have them run by nonprofit organizations. But as far as the others, the growers, the confectioners, and all that would be just common businesses for the most part.
But why does the state have to approve your recommendation?
Excuse me now?
Like, why does the state have to give 30 days to say yes or no on that issue? If the doctor says,
well,
it's put, need this, why does the state come in when they're not doctors?
It's put in there. Well, it would be the health department, so they kind of are, but some of those. But it's the health department will be regulating it. Yeah. Mainly, that's only going to come into effect, if a doctor's credentials are being questioned.
Okay.
They're not real crazy about the idea of like there is in California, walk into the doctor's office, put your money on the table and get a recommendation, and they want it to be a little bit tighter than that, and if that would be the main reason, if they found out that you got it for a doctor that's wrote 5,000 this week. Basically.
And
Yes,
there's,
ma'am.
you know, we're not looking to have doctors that are specializing in, you know,
Yeah, that's what that's really trying to do.
in writing recommendations, you know.
Because
Because, in my opinion, that's where, you know, when California passed Prop 215, it was the next legislative session before they laid down any regulations on it. By then, it was the Wild West. That's not what I'm looking for here. You know? And honestly, I expect more out of my legislators than that. I expect them to make it safe for the patients that are here, that are going to be using it, and to make it where they can logically enforce it. You know, you can't make it hell for law enforcement, and or on the other, you know, the turn of the coin, you can't make it hell on the patients either. You got to make it where they can be legal and law enforcement can, you know, without any strenuous word, say, okay, you're legal, you're not. You know, and of course, there's not going to be any secret tunnel in between the two. I'm sorry.
I mean, on that point though, I mean, when you're talking about growing safe plants with the dispensary, I mean, with the health department, is gonna be kind of in the realm of like a restaurant type of thing. You've got a checklist, you're going into places, making sure it's grown properly, you know,
It will be
different
subject to
climate types of
inspection.
things.
Will be subject to inspection.
How
And,
it's distributed in the dispensary, all those kind of things are aspects in the building floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
and it will all be.
The health department.
Alabama Health Department will be the enforcement body.
The health department even has if you are a patient, they have the right to call you and schedule an appointment to come in and inspect your grow if you have a grow license.
Right.
So
And-
to make
and
sure
that's
that you're
something
not
that we
over
really
and make
want.
sure that there's not any health and safety problems like somebody doing some crazy wiring job or something like that and burning their
I
house
don't want
down.
anybody burning the house down or